everybody. NC4XL, North Carolina for extreme lovers, and I'm not. Just Dom, the darling old man. Well, I'd come out to my local community city park where I was going to do this video, and they're out mowing the yards and making all sorts of rackets. Plus, it's 61 degrees out. And it has a nice little breeze, so needless to say, instead of fighting the system, just sit in the car and do this video real quick. For those of you that don't know me, you might see a cup or two posted on Facebook if you monitor or utilize Facebook. That's me. That's just my calling card. That's the best coffee that I like. I don't care what other people like, but that's what I like, so I use it. The video that I'm going to share with you is just opinions on what people are thinking about becoming an activator and what do I need and how do I do it. I am not the answer. I only have thoughts and ideas. Many of us YouTubers, if you will search, share our videos, share our styles, share our equipment. But I'm just going to give you some basics, very simple basics. And when I talk about it, it may sound crude, but when you go out for your first activation, you don't need a suitcase with lunch, dinner, and all the other goodies. You need the basics. So let's talk about the basics. First of all, if you're going to use a device, make sure the battery's charged. I would suggest doing something simple, very simple. Use paper and pencil when you first get started. If you have a phone that you can utilize for a clock or a UTC dual clock, they have those on the market for ham radio operators, or there's apps that will allow you to have a clock which will show UTC and local time. The thing that you want to keep in mind is everything is done in UTC date, not the normal 24-hour date that you're assuming. Secondly, if you're using a paper and by accident spill something on it, you still have a usable form of information. If you're using a device and you get nervous or panicky because it didn't come up right away or you can't figure out how real quick, don't do that frustration level. Just start out with paper and pencil. You can then take it to the program that you would like to utilize, whatever it is. I use N3FJP at home. That's my choice. There's many use hammers. There's Ham K2. There's Polo. There's several different sources. You have to find something you want, not what somebody else is using. And that's an important thing about activating. You're the individual. You choose how you would like to activate. Your style, your method. That's the main thing that we want to share about this. You don't have to buy the biggest and best antenna. Okay, I'm going to say something that's probably a little awkward, but I'll share it with you. When I go to a park, and many of us will do this, I'll go out of sight, out of mind to the park. The yellow dot is just a location of where the park is. That is not for you to stop and park at. That is where the location of the park, and many parks encompass many miles. So you have many different places where you can pull off into a campground or a side road, etc., and still be in the park or on the trail. You just don't park where the yellow dot is. I very seldom ever ask for permission unless I'm confronted by a ranger. I don't seek them out. That does not mean being deceptive. I'm utilizing the public park for my self-gratification of ham radio, testing my equipment, and as long as I am not interfering with anybody, I feel comfortable in doing it that way. If I'm approached, we're going to follow the guidelines of the park. Every park is different, just like people are. So sales cover sins sometimes, and that's what I do. If somebody says, where's your antenna? I said, right there, and I'll show them, yeah, there's a fishing pole. That's how I get the line up and over the trees as not to damage the trees. And if they don't have no issues with it, good. 90% of the time, nobody ever knows that I'm there, because I'm not going to put up a banner and a flag and have music going and a bunch of people, because your first few activations, you don't want anybody to see how nervous you are, and you're going to be nervous, and that's to be expected. Propagation is your challenge. You cannot control it. You only get to work with it. So as you are learning to become an activator in your area, East Coast, West Coast, Midwest, if you watch a spotting page, you'll see where everybody is spotted at. Band-wise, 40 meters, 20, 17, 15, 10, 12, 6, okay? Yes, you can do 2-meter activations, not via a repeater. Simplex only. 440, not via a repeater, simplex only. So that makes it a little difficult. And for those of you that are a tech, 10-meter, you have an assigned portion of the band per your license that you're licensed for SSB. Otherwise, you have CW privileges throughout the band. Again, knowing your band plan, always have a band plan with you. Many of them are online. You can download and print it, but it's nice to know where you should be, not where you accidentally end up, and it happens more than you realize. So when you get to the park, whatever park you choose, you know it's a POTA park. It's not a city-owned, it's not a county-owned. A POTA park. Then at that point, write that park number down. I said, write it down so you won't forget. When I paper log, I put that park number, even as many activations as I have done, I still put the park number on each page. And it's so that when I get in a pileup, I have that right in front of me, and at my age, sometimes I forget. So I want to make sure that I have it visible. The radio, I use 80 watts, FT891. You use whatever radios you want. If you want a pileup, then go 80 watts, 100 watts. If you do not want a pileup, turn it down to 10 watts, turn it down to 5 watts, and run QRP. Okay? When you're activating, go park to park when you first get started. In other words, hopefully you have internet access. That's one difficult situation that's hard to control. But when you have internet access, and depending on the type of antenna you're using, whether it's an ATOS, a Wolf River coil, ANFET up in a tree, buddy pole, whatever you're using, work the bands first. Don't go out there and say, well, I'm going to spot myself, and you might be a little overwhelmed when you first spot yourself. So work the bands first. So all you have to do is park to park, NC4XL. Not just park to park. Not just park to park. I try real hard to make sure I don't do that myself. But I try to work at park to park, NC4XL. Same thing with you. This way, the Activator will listen for those keywords, park to park, and listen for your call sign so that he can or she can recognize you. And you will, in time, learn about park to park pileups. Yes, it happens. We logged yesterday, we were out, Mike and I. We logged 9 park to parks in a row because it just was a fluke. At that time, everybody was hunting for somebody to make a contact with, and we were available and we were working park to parks. But the easiest way is to span the band, go work your park to parks, and remember, every contact you make, whether you accumulate the 10 which is required, 10 contacts, deserve to be uploaded. And I say that because there are some people, I didn't get enough contacts and I'm not going to upload it. I don't want to show a failed. The failure there is only in the head. You did not fail. You had a learning experience. You may not have completed your day or completed it the way you wanted. But those people that took the time to spin the dial, to hunt you, to find you, to try to work you when you were very low in signal, band conditions were rough, all those elements, they deserve that credit too, because they, in the long run, are working towards different achievements that you're not aware of. And you as an activator getting started out, your very first activation or very first few activations, do not realize the many self-inflicted goals you're going to create for yourself. Seriously. You work a park 20 times. You work that same park, activate that same park 20 times. You got a repeat offender. As an activator, if you hunt a park, that same park 20 different times, you got a repeat offender as a hunter. And I will not try to get started in that because the awards program is awesome. It's just so massive. And all of it starts because of somebody taking the time to make contacts with somebody else. So now if you're willing to go up to 50 watts or 100 watts, again, get ready for the pileups. Let's talk about the pileups. The pileups, you're going to have to work your own magic. And again, starting out on paper, not starting out on the device. Yes, devices are nice. You know their name and you know their state and it makes you feel good. That's not why you're there for right now. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you don't need it at first, you don't have a battery to fail, you don't have sun glare to bother you, the frustration you already have, get past that first. So work what you hear. Work what you hear. Write down what you hear. My trick, I don't write down your call. I write down letters I heard. November Charlie 4 X-ray Lima, NC4XL. I heard the X-ray Lima. I heard the Kilo Oscar 4. I heard the Papa Tango Papa. I write down what I hear, and then I go back and fill in the blanks with the people. Each one of us do it different. My way is not the right way. My way works well for me because I have learned to utilize it, and many of my followers know exactly when to call, the tail ending, when they know that I've been waiting for a list, and they're going to get their QRP contact with me at the very end because they know that I'm listening for them. You can go onesies, twosies, and by that I mean call area 1, call area 2, call area 3 if you want to do that. Not a lot of folks will stay a long time, especially when you're on twos and they're a 0 and it's going to take you a while to get back. They're going to spin the dial, and that's okay. Spinning the dial If you have internet access where you're at, then you watch the spotting page and you see where people are at on the spotting page. I always set mine up by frequency. And the reason I set it by frequency is so 40 meters shows up, then 20 meters, and 17, and the like, is I can go down and hunt the people, the activators, in some form of an order for me. When you don't have internet, and now you don't have a spotting page, then spinning the dial really becomes very important, because you're going to hope to hear an activator, or you're going to hope to hear a net that may, not all the time, go off frequency and spot you, because they know that you're hunting. When it comes to net frequencies, there are known frequencies that are used by AM. There are known nets, and none of us, understand this as an activator, none of us own any frequency. We always try to make sure we always, and I repeat this, always ask, is the frequency in use? Is the frequency in use? NC4XL. Because sometimes where you're at a net frequency or very close to it, you'll have people who are pre-netters. They guard the frequency plus or minus 5 kc so that when their net starts, they can jump in and tell you, we'll have a net here in 20 minutes. That'll be fine. I'll be out of here before then. All right, thank you. And it's not fun hunting for frequency sometimes. So you're going to get frustrated. That's normal. You're not different than the rest of us. You just learn how to handle it or deal it. Okay, when you find a frequency and nobody answers and you've done your good code of conduct practices and you spot yourself because you have the internet, then get ready. Again, if you're QRP, 5 watts, 10 watts, you will not have the pileups that you'll have if you're 80 watts or 100 watts. Expectations, it's all what you're looking for. If you want to use a device, use your device, but understand when you get frustrated, the people on the other side will know it too. When we're out as an activator, if somebody calls me David, I know they're looking at a computer, whether they're an activator or whether they're somebody at home, because I don't use David per se. I use Dom, and that's just me. I use an end fed that I get up in the air with a fishing pole. I don't use a projectile device, because if you go to a park and somebody says, is that a projectile like gas or air or whatever, they may have some questions. Use common sense, really. Use common sense. If you want a covered area, sheltered, it's going to be utilized probably by more than just you. And that's why we try to set ourselves out of sight, out of mind at any parks that we go to not draw a lot of attention. I hope you enjoy and give yourself the opportunity to activate. If you're thinking about activating and you have the opportunity within your club or community, radio community, to tag along and or be with another activator as they activate, jump at that chance. Seriously, jump at that chance. We notice a lot of clubs now are getting quite involved in parks on the air, which is awesome. So you have some more Elmers, you have some more people that might be able to take you out or take you to your first activation and not activate for you, but activate with you, allowing you to be the activator and them to assist you and guide you. PAWA is one outstanding club. K8BSR is an outstanding club. And I pick on those two clubs because they really focus on getting their folks out. CFARS here in Fayetteville has done several different activations with the club called Getting More People Out to Experience what it's like so that they can go on their own and know that they have some experience involved. We have a new club, November Charlie 4 Hotel. They're going to be doing the same thing, if I'm not mistaken, up at Murfreesboro, Murphy, North Carolina. Many clubs are now taking the interested folks out to show them the hows and what ifs and how to log it and different things like that. Thank you for taking the time to listen. I hope that you understand I am not an expert. I'm just an old man. It all started in this town where I live right now when somebody says, have you heard about this POTA, Parks on the Air stuff? That was in November of 2020. And after 10 years of being off of ham radio, I got the equipment out of the storage unit. It's stored in the storage unit for 10 years and started listening. And in April of 2021 was my very first activation. Scared to death. It was a twofer, but I've loved it ever since. And I suggest for you guys and gals interested, crawl before you walk, walk before you run. You don't have to have the biggest and the best right at first. Start out with simple and work your way up to where you're comfortable and as you see fit in your particular area where you live with the different parks you have. Just go have fun. That's what amateur radio is about, and that's what Parks on the Air is about. November Charlie 4XL Lima, thank you for your time. North Carolina for extreme lovers, I'm not. Just Dom. Oh, a darling old man that likes my cafe coffee. 73s.